So with the amount of AEW news to go through in this video, I figured I would pick two AEW stars, and also it is my way of trying and testing out the webcam to see if the webcam actually works, or if it sputters and stutters like it did in the last video that I used, which was actually the first video that I used with the new webcam. So that will give me an indication of if it's worth figuring out if I need a new webcam or not. But either way, there is wrestling news to get to, and the wrestling news to get to starts with AEW looking at the possibility of running house shows in 2023 to get the lesser experienced stars some more experience. But as Dave Meltzer notes, that if you're going with the lesser experienced stars and you're not gonna have, well, like the WWE formula with the house shows, where you do have lesser experienced stars, but the more experienced stars are also a part of the house shows, and you're just going to do it for the lesser experienced talent, you'd be better off finding another way to get the lesser experienced talent more experience, because the expense that you're going to incur from having that type of running those types of house shows and the house shows not drawing, it won't be worth it. It won't be worth it because you will not make the money that you're investing back in the house shows, because people won't go just to see talent that nobody knows and nobody's heard of. But that's just me, and I actually do agree with Meltzer on this one. Actually, it's not just me, it's Meltzer too, that he believes that AEW would benefit more from doing something similar to what WWE does with NXT and letting the Nightmare Factory run house shows to give the lesser experienced talent more experience, or the factory, because I do believe QT Marshall's training facility is different from the Rhodes family's training facility. So I think that they would have the benefit of having two developmental training facilities. But the thing is that I know offhand AEW does not have one, because the Nightmare Factory is not exclusively a feeder to AEW, it is a feeder to WWE as well, because of the association with Cody, I'm assuming. But QT Marshall's development, training academy could be a feeder system directly to AEW. The fact of the matter is, though, AEW needs to understand, just because you want to get more experience, there are ways to do that, and there are ways not to do it. And I think running house shows in a big building where the biggest straw on the card is somebody that the fans really don't know or don't have any investment in, it is not the way to go. The way to go is to have a mixture of talent, both talent that the fans may not have an investment in and talent that the fans do have an investment in, and have, well, basically TV programs for the live crowd. Basically. And take it from there. But I think that there are ways that if AEW wants to get more attention for their, or more practice for their lesser experienced stars, there are ways to do it rather than house shows, because I don't think that a house show tour for AEW is the solid way to go if everyone on the roster is not going to be a part of it. Speaking of everyone on the roster, AEW's got a little bit of a problem because Tay Melo is set to appear at the AAA event tomorrow alongside Sammy Guevara in a triangle triple threat tag team match for the AEW mixed tag team titles, with but is also set to appear in a tag team match with, well, she's set to appear in a tag team match on Dynamite. And is actually double booked. It is the first time that I remember somebody double booked for an AEW show. But you gotta wonder, how the hell does this happen? You gotta wonder, how the hell does this happen, to be honest with you. That AEW, that Tony Khan doesn't realize that one of his stars are booked on another show, that they're a champion in a company that they're a champion in. So, in my opinion, Tay Melo's booking in AAA takes precedent over her booking in AEW because she's a champion alongside Sammy Guevara in AAA. So that means that, in my opinion, it should take precedent, even though AEW's her home base. Her tag match with Anna Jay can wait till Rampage and be moved to Rampage, as opposed to being held on Dynamite. In my opinion, they could run an angle on Dynamite, rescheduling the match for Rampage when Anna Jay is actually back. But the fact of the matter is, now that you think about it, when do they tape Rampage? Right after Dynamite. So either they need to reschedule the match for next week, or don't do the match. If they want to do the tag team match. If they don't want to do a tag team match and are comfortable with doing a singles match, then do a singles match. But in my opinion, Tay Melo's obligations as champion take precedent over her obligations to wrestle a random tag team match in AEW. But that's just me. Speaking of the AAA show, though, FTR will be defending their tag team championships on that show against Dragon Lee and Dralestico. And it is talked about that AAA may be taking back the AAA tag team of Dragon Lee and Dralestico, may be taking back the AAA tag team titles, which FTR have held for over a year at this point. Which FTR have held over a year at this point, after defeating the Lucha Brothers last October for the tag belts during that much maligned feud, or the much talked about feud between FTR and the Lucha Brothers. But there is no guarantee that FTR will be losing the tag team titles tomorrow, I should say. Tomorrow, it is talked about that they will be, and expected that they might be. I think because, well, they've held the titles for a year. So you never know when somebody's going to drop the title after they've held the title for a year. But, in my opinion, I think it may be time for FTR to replace the AAA tag team titles with the AEW tag team titles and go ahead and challenge the Acclaimed. I'm not saying that the Acclaimed should drop the belts. I'm just saying that FTR may be moving back to their home base and being given something more. But also, if FTR is going to be leaving in the early part of 2023, then does Tony Khan really need to give a championship to a team that he knows wants to leave? And is that why that FTR will be dropping the AAA tag team titles? That AAA knows that FTR's time on the indies and working for big companies may be coming to a close. I mean, if it was me, I'd get the belts off of them before it causes an issue. But I know that the big picture is, just because they're leaving AEW doesn't mean they'd be leaving everywhere. because that would just leave their IWGP Tag Team Championships that they still hold as the only championships they hold from the time when they were the big time, holding championships in a smattering of promotions. But this has been the AEW news, and ironically enough, I did not mention Fight Forever, but this has been the news on AEW. Let me know your thoughts on the news that I spoke about and any other news having to do with AEW in the comment section down below. And this is me signing off until next time.